season opener in volleyball for 2021. It's an all-Robbinsdale district matchup for you tonight. The Cooper Hawks making the short journey over here to Armstrong to take on the Falcons. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox, and both of these teams, of course, had shortened seasons last fall due to COVID-19. Cooper winning a couple of matches, a couple of five-setters, in fact, for their two wins. Armstrong was just over the 500 mark, but it's a brand new season, brand new coaching staff here for Armstrong as well, as Mike Hauser takes over the reins, and he's got a whole new staff with him as well. They've got about 5 returning players for the Falcons this fall, but they definitely graduated some top players who had been mainstays in their lineup for the past 3 or even 4 years, so they're going to have a little bit of a different look. Cooper brings back 3 starters, and they've been slowly but surely working their way into full go mode here for this season. They had some two-a-days and trying to really improve themselves on the serve-receive game. Obviously, Cooper and Armstrong has not been a very close rivalry in this particular sport. Armstrong has pretty much dominated over the years, and in fact, they have had sweeps early in the season. The last 5 times that they have matched up, the last time they met was back in 2019, 2 seasons ago. There'll be some jitters for sure, but fans are back, and volleyball is back here. The 2021 season starting up here on CCX. Cooper and Armstrong. It'll come your way next. Janae Alderson joins me for the call. And welcome back to Armstrong. We had a long JV match, which pushed our start time back just a little bit here tonight, but the teams being introduced to the crowd, and very nice to have a crowd back in the gym after last season where it was hearing mostly just the ball and the players on the court and the coaches a little bit. And speaking of glad to have something back, we are glad to have Janae Alderson back, the former Champlain Park standout, and joining us for the match tonight. Janae, good to have you here, and kind of exciting to be back in the high school realm a little bit here.
Oh yeah, when I walked in, saw the atmosphere, obviously with COVID, you know, people weren't in the stands much this year, but it was good to see a good crowd going, and it's also just good to be back in the environment again with all the balls and then hitting the ground and the loud crowd, as you can hear in the background.
For both of these teams, of course, the season opener, and some of them have played varsity ball and some have not. You know, what are kind of the jitters normally like on that first night of high school ball, would you say?
Oh, well, I definitely would, the first thing on my mind is get that first win or get that first loss out of the way. Either way it goes, I mean, you'd hope to win, but if you get that first loss, you're thinking afterwards, we got to win in the next one, and if you get that first win, you're like, all right, we're on the ball, and we're rolling for the rest of the season.
Armstrong getting a chance to play on their home court for the opener, and Cooper, if you're going to have to make a road trip, this would be the one to do. It's about maybe 3 miles or so roughly over from Cooper, maybe not even quite that. And so obviously these players, a lot of them know each other when they went to middle school together, or been you know, classmates at various times up along the way too. So obviously a special one for that regard. And as I talked about though in pregame, we'd be lying if we said it's been a close matchup in volleyball. It's been an Armstrong-dominated rivalry in this sport for sure. But I was joking with Tiara Russell, the Cooper head coach, a little bit about how, you know, it's an opportunity for their girls to. It would be very memorable on their side if they were able to pull off an upset and get the win. And with Armstrong having such a new bunch this year in terms of the coaches and also quite a few new players, it's, you know, they're probably not, I would say it's fair to say neither team will look like as good of a team as they're going to look later in the season. I think that's true for everybody, but especially maybe in this kind of a scenario too.
Yeah, this would be the night to do it, huh? After all that's going on, and then they hit the floor, and especially with the new coaching staff, as you mentioned, you know, they're going to be a little bit wobbly, you know, get those first passes out the way. As he did say earlier, they are looking to improve their serve receive, so we'll be on the lookout for that. And if Cooper can, you know, highlight that, go in with some strong serves, maybe they can get an upset and maybe just take down that long streak of Armstrong wins.
Let's look at the starters for Cooper first of all here, or for both teams, excuse me, as get a look on the left is the Hawks lineup. Olivia Thomas, Lamaya Holmes, Tamaya Reese, Charissa Ross, Nairi Paul, Savannah Ballard, and their libero is Brooke Chang. Almstrom, Daly, Ferguson, McGowan, Keeblebeck, Jurek, and Maddie Foundow is the libero for Mike Hauser and the Falcons.
Well, all right, Jay, they got the music going. They're about to start that first whistle of the season. I cannot imagine what's going through their heads right now, but I hope they're thinking first pass, first serve.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll see people being kind of jacked up, and that first serve might be, you know, a little extra on it. They're trying too hard to be perfect with it, that kind of thing. I was saying to both the coaches that I didn't realize how used to last year I had gotten, where it was so silent in here. So to walk in and hear all the noise was you know, like a pleasant surprise, like a return to what we had known in past years, obviously here.
Look, and especially that crowd, hopefully it helps the Armstrong gals. You know, it may be nerve-wracking for some of them, but I hope they build on that hype. I imagine from just the JV game, they have a lot of people behind them, a lot of power they can build from. And if they just build off that high energy first game jitters, hopefully they can get a win. And then if Cooper can also heighten on that, and if they hear that crowd is low with some runs, they can also capitalize on that too. So we will see which way this goes.
Well, it looks like Armstrong might have had a lineup here, or they ordered them to have somebody else in there. So.
Oh. Well, I guess coaches have first game jitters too.
Yeah, I'm not 100% that that's what that was, but it sure looked like it. So Jurek will serve here to start things out for Armstrong. And we are underway here in the 2021 season, and that one will land out after the try by Brooke Chang to get that pass up. So 1-0 Falcons here to begin it.
No first game jitters for Alex Jurek.
This time Cooper able to recover, but they send a free ball over here. And come left side with it. Dug up on the hit there by Daly. And then that swing into the net from Brooke Chang, and a couple points in a row go up for Armstrong.
Yeah, they are winning that serve battle at the moment, especially with that serve receive. It's kind of catching her high and going back. And there it is again.
Yeah, that pass from Olivia Thomas. Kind of strange, because normally you figure a libero might be one of the best passers on the team, but it looked like they were actually kind of going at her. I don't know if it was intentional or just worked out that way the first couple serves, and then that time Thomas handled it and was not able to get that pass up.
Yeah, it did look as though she kind of jumped back, maybe with some hesitation from the past two serves. And then just that last minute communication obviously ended in an ace. Great for Armstrong, though.
Yeah, you're hoping for, you want players who want that ball coming to them, and this time a better pass, but a free ball played over here, and Armstrong, after a little stumble, getting into their offense. And that one will drop in as the Falcons stood and watched a little bit as Thomas able to find some open space on the floor there.
Yeah, that was a great roll shot, just dive in the middle, and some lack of communication. That does happen early in the season. Everyone looking at each other, just a new team, obviously just started last week, so you kind of expect those mistakes sometimes.
Holmes will serve here for Cooper. And going to be too strong. I was talking about a moment ago. It's not too uncommon to see that very early in the first match in particular. So Daly will serve now, a junior for Armstrong. And again, Cooper struggling a little bit on serve receive. They do get it over. An attack right side this time, and just too long. As Kiebelbeck tried to find the line but didn't get it, so a point for Cooper.
That was a great set, back set to the right side, and she had a good look in it, almost looked in, but you know, those line judges, they know what they're doing back there. So obviously just caught it out a little bit, but good first look, great swing.
Chang serving here for Cooper. And a service error will score the point. And sometimes, especially early in these early season matches, it isn't even just about how well you play offensively or whatever. It's, do you limit mistakes? Sometimes you don't want to give free points away to the other team, and we've seen a little bit of that in the early going here for both teams. An attack middle here, and that one is put home by Kylie Ferguson, one of the returning regulars for the Falcons, and they lead it 6-2.
Oh, that is a great look. You just catch those blockers going. They're just taking away her. They're taking away her cross. She goes line, and just no one there.
Fondo serving here for the Falcons, and that'll be another ace as Thomas struggling to get that pass up, and a 7-2 lead here now for the Falcons.
Yeah, they are picking on her at the moment, and I can just imagine their coach is giving them a line spot to go there. And there it is again. Great pass. Yeah,
much better this time, and Thomas gets the return. Dug up there by Armstrong, and Armstrong now will get a swing, but misfired on that one. Didn't get a real great approach there, and missing badly on that, so it'll be a point for Cooper.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to live for another day. She didn't have an approach. She kind of just swung like she was already high in the air, but I do appreciate the aggressiveness, especially early in the season when you can have those mistakes. Obviously up 3-7.
From left side with it there, and Omoke unable to dig it up. Score the kill for Armstrong as she got another quick opportunity. It's nice as a setter when you can give your teammate an opportunity right after a mistake.
Give them a little bit of redemption.
Kiebelbeck to serve here for the Falcons, and that'll be another ace as Cooper has really had difficulty handling service in this early part.
Oh yeah, look at that drop just at the last minute. They're going at something different, and then it did work for them.
Oh, and that one is an ace as well as it hits the line. I don't think she put it, it almost looked like she mishit it just a little bit, but it was still just barely in, so score the point again. Another tough one here. Ballard recovering, though, to get that ball up anyway. And Armstrong continuing to excel as Ferguson able to put it away here, and they lead it by 8. Timeout, Coach Russell on the Cooper sideline as you see Armstrong getting things going pretty well. And, you know, both coaches really mentioned, as many coaches will, that serve receive was the thing we had to, you know, really make sure we're on point on tonight, and obviously Cooper's had some difficulty with that in this first portion of the first set.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that Armstrong is going for some certain spots. They're working it deep, they're working it short, and just giving that confusion for the other team. Just making sure that they're not getting a comfortable receive, and obviously they're making them very uncomfortable, getting some aces and just some out of system work, and then they just get a free ball and they're hitting their middles early and making sure that the middles are represented early, so when they start getting in those outside balls, that those blockers on the other side are a bit confused on whether to stay at home in the middle or have to transition out to the outside. So it's great coaching on their part to establish that middle early and hit that cross-court shot too.
There's a look at Coach Russell, third year now working with Cooper, and played her high school ball back at Osseo.
Go back with the serve.
Ballard will send this one over here. Fondo getting to it. And Kubelbeck trying to go line, but this time missed it. So point for the Hawks. They get a much needed side out here.
Yeah, and right after that timeout too, it gives you a little bit of breath. They've had that coach tell them, hey, just take a breath. Hopefully that's what they're saying. It's the first game jitters, and just take where you can.
Thomas with the serve here. Oh, Fondo misfired a little bit on that one. Nice dig there by Amoke. Gonna come back for Ferguson, and that one is out though. They had it set up pretty much how they wanted. She had a lot of space to work with there, but just couldn't hit the line.
Yeah, and that one you kind of live with as a coach because she was aggressive, barely out, and she's gonna get the next one for sure.
Joust at the net there, and we're gonna have point for Armstrong there as a Cooper with a net violation there against Reese. Armstrong kind of got a break because that pass to the setter was a tough one for her to handle, and they were scrambling at that point.
Ooh.
Ooh, it crawls over, but not in. You kind of feel like that would have been a cheap point if Armstrong got that one, so probably justice that it ends up being a point for Cooper there. And Rachel Amoke will come in. Her twin sister Sylvia has been in the match, and now Rachel coming in to serve it for the Hawks. Ooh, a nice cross-court swing there for Ferguson.
That was a great ball. Just a little bit off speed, just dropping right in the donut, right in front of that right back player. Oh, wow. And just misses the middle blocker a bit. That is a great swing.
Ferguson to serve here for the Falcons. Ooh, that one I think was going to be out, but Thomas didn't hear the call in time and played it.
Yeah, you got Ferguson just working on all cylinders, goes and gets a kill, comes back, gets an ace. That's a great start to her season for sure, especially as a senior.
Ballard running to get to it. Now Thomas missing the line there. So Armstrong has kind of re-established dominance here.
It's all about the serve-receive game, and they are winning in this both the serve and receive game at the moment.
Ballard will have to send another free ball over here. And a swing and an opportunity and put away by Holmes there for Cooper.
That was a great swing, just catching the hands high, as you can see. Goes ahead, has a late blocker, uses the hands to just give him some junk. Can't really pick up those unless you're on your toes, and she caught him on her heels that time.
So Ballard to serve here for Cooper as they try and battle their way back into it after a slow start. Fondo digging that one up. They'll get another crack at it. Cooper looking to go middle. Ballard this time will come right side, and that one is put away by Nairi Paul. You can see Ballard, I mean, she's a pretty good setter. They just haven't had enough times where they've gotten that first pass to her, and obviously things have gone a whole lot better when she's been able to set the ball in a more comfortable spot. Fondo having to fight that one off. And now she'll send one over, and obviously not expecting your libero to be scoring a ton of points like that, but Cooper left a pretty big gap in the middle.
Yeah, you just see her kind of take some off it, get that off speed, and those ones that drop in the middle like that confuse a lot of people in that donut, so great spot.
Good chance for Armstrong to get into their offense here, and they'll look right side with it. That time, pretty good dig by Thomas. Come out to the left here, and that one is put home by Megan Daly for the Falcons, and they go up 16-8.
Yeah, they're just taking those back corners pretty aggressively. Either it's the outside or the middle. They're just catching those back corners and just flying by. Those back balls are the best ones to do.
Fondo able to dig that one up. And a backhanded over there by Daly. And a strong hit there. No chance to recover on that one. And Cooper's got a couple of players that can attack a little bit, but it's just been struggled to get to that point.
Yeah, you see some more confidence, and you see a little bit more balls getting to your setter, and she has all three options, and it's confusing the blockers on the other side and catching them on their hands or just catching them on their heels.
So Holmes with the serve, and it's a good one. Fondo too long with that one.
Yeah, Cooper is starting to creep back in a little bit with their serves, and serve receive is breaking down a bit on Armstrong, but don't count them out.
Roll to the middle there. Ballard able to dig it up. Now Thomas sending it over. Fondo to the floor to recover that one. And a misfire there will score the point here for Armstrong.
Yeah, and they had a pretty good opportunity with that positive block touch coming across the court. Set it up pretty nicely. Had a good back row attack look at it, but just couldn't quite get it over the net. Daly
too strong with that serve. So Armstrong had been mainly pretty good with the serve, but then a couple errors of late here.
That's all about the first game errors and mistakes, and it's just see if Cooper can capitalize on them. Best way to get in sometimes.
Chang serving now for the Hawks. Ballard will come to Thomas. We'll get another crack at it here. Thomas blocked again, and Cooper stayed with it though, and they were able to punch it over. Nice dig. And Thomas will send that one over as Keeblebeck mistimed the block a little bit. A big scrambling point, and Cooper able to win it.
Yeah, you do see her just give that little bit of off speed, catch those hands high, and then sometimes you don't know what to do on that other side when the junk comes over. So great play. Ooh.
Chang with the misfire on the serve. Yeah, Cooper, they've certainly, to their credit, I mean, they look a lot better than they did when the set began here. They've crept back in it. That slow start's probably going to be too much to overcome, but I'm sure they're thinking that, okay, we're playing a little more like we can now, and at least, give ourselves a chance in the next couple sets.
And then you get a couple plays like that where some lucky drops and some missed serves, things start changing your way. You get that momentum, and just bring that momentum from this game into the next one, and you have no idea what can happen in 5 sets.
Sylvia Amoke to serve here for Cooper. Come to the right side, and Keeblebeck able to put that one home.
That was a monster swing, just straight down its middle, not off speed at all. She was actually looking to go for it, and she got right in between both blockers. Great play and a great set.
Near collision there, and that'll result in a mishit by Holmes. Yeah, getting back to that last Keeblebeck kill, it feels like more teams have started to utilize right sides more than what you used to see, where it was almost always going left side, and if not that, then to the middle. And it obviously keeps the defense guessing a little bit more if you can utilize that.
Yeah, I will say that they are both utilizing all of their hitters in each position, which is great to see, especially in high school, just to use all 3 options. Keeps the other blockers guessing. especially when you use your back row attack, then you confuse whether if you're going to set the middle or the back, and that just gives even more opportunity for hitters to have no block.
We can see why Holmes led them in kills last year. She's had some impressive swings here for Cooper, and that one is too strong from Ferguson. She's asking for a touch here, but the official says no. So Hawks are back to within 6. They, as we said, did not start out real strong, but since then it's been pretty even. And that one is too long, as Armstrong has made a couple of hitting errors in a row here, and Cooper continues to chip back into it.
Yeah, let's see what they can do with this little bit of momentum.
To the middle they'll come. Ferguson that time off hands, and she'll get the point back. You kind of sense that she wanted that ball again and wanted another opportunity, and she gets it. So now a 6-point lead here for Armstrong.
As she wanted it, and she showed why she wanted it, for sure. That was a great hit.
Armstrong to serve here now for the Falcons. And that'll be an ace. That's kind of how they started out this first set. Going at Chang, the libero, and able to put this one. You see a lot of downward dive to that. Chang will send it over here. Oops, a little misfire on that pass for the Falcons, but still put away by Daly. I think she did a nice job of not overcommitting on that. She didn't really get much of an approach, but still, if you're able to put the ball in play in a decent spot, you got a chance.
Yeah, she kind of looked over on the other side, saw where they weren't, and just put some good pace on it. So sometimes that's all you need.
Well, it was set point, but Armstrong got it maybe a little too excited to try and win it with an ace, and instead it'll be into the net, and have a point for Cooper. And now Rachel Amoke will serve.
Yeah, my coach said never miss a serve on game point or after timeout. But them being up 17-24, I think they'll be all right.
Overpass there. Cooper now will come to Holmes, and it'll crawl over. Fondo misfiring to the outside, and Cooper stays alive. You might ultimately think, you know, well, does it matter how much closer they get? But I think for their mindset going into the second set, it does matter to get these points at the end, even if they don't, you know, have time to come back into this one. Ferguson sending it over, and scramble on the recovery, and then Ferguson trying to put that overpass away. Holmes with a little roll shot there. Back for Ferguson, pushing it to the outside, and that will be good for set point there. She didn't get a full swing or anything like that, but did a nice job of finding the open spot on the court to the sideline. So Armstrong starts very well. Cooper battles back, but it's the Falcons pulling out that win in the first set. 25-18 Armstrong, our first set score. We'll be back with the second set here. All Robbinsdale District matchup in volleyball here on CCX.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
And welcome back here to Armstrong. The Falcons pulling out the first set win, 25-18. And there is a look at Mike Hauser, the first-year head coach here at Armstrong. He'd been a head coach at Eagle Ridge Academy in the high school ranks, and then he's still a coach at Club Tonka as well. And Janae, I think you know, in the past, you maybe saw quite a bit of division where somebody was either in the high school world of coaching or in the JOs, but I think you're seeing definitely more now of people that are involved in both.
Yeah, I definitely am seeing some crossover. I mean, at first there was a bit controversy because if there was someone from your club playing on your team, I did hear, you know, people like, oh, you can coach them year round. But I feel like now that volleyball is coming a little bit bigger, a lot of people are doing both club and high school, just year round volleyball. It is becoming a bit more of kind of a necessity. You have some coaches that are just doing both to get that work in, whether it's going to be in the fall, the winter, you know, just any type of opportunity coaches can do to make these players a little bit better. So that's awesome to see.
We saw a moment ago, too, Mike Vogel, who was Armstrong's coach the past couple of seasons. So he's back watching some of his former players in action as well here tonight.
Yeah, it's great to see, you know, former coaches come back, see how their players are doing, and as well as just see what the future is going to hold. So hope he's definitely excited for the Armstrong first set win, and hopefully they can take it home for him. But don't count out Cooper right now because all they need is some positive block touches, a little bit better serve receive, and I do believe they're back in this.
Ballard will serve to start the second set here for Cooper. Yeah, I think they definitely got some things to build on later in that set. They did not play very well early, but came on. There's McGowan scoring from the middle there. She's a good basketball player for the Falcons and obviously got good size. I think stands about 6'2", or maybe even a little more than that now, and you know, so certainly can be a weapon in there too. Jurek with the serve. Ballard will come right side with it. Holmes putting it over. Chang digging that one up, and then a little bit of a misfire from Ross in the middle. Kind of took her eye off it seemed like, right there.
Yeah, just a bit. You know, you have that, especially in the middle. It's kind of hard when you don't have those perfect setups, but sometimes you just got to take a little off and live for another day.
Jurek with the serve. Thomas looked much more solid on that serve receive there as she struggled a bit in the first. Block put up there by the Falcons, and now a 3-0 lead here for Armstrong out of the gate.
Yeah, but you do love to see that it's not just one touch and done by the Cooper side. They are putting up a lot of hustle and great touches. Great pass.
Ballard will dump it over. Armstrong able to recover. McGowan sending that one over. Ballard looking outside with it. Tough ball to handle there. Cross court with it, and Chang, I think, stumbled a little bit, so Daly will get the point, and ended up catching Chang in the forehead there. She's kind of looking around. I think it looked like she might have just sort of tripped up a little bit as she went for that one.
Yeah, she read that a little too well. Knew it was going, but a little too early.
And Chang not quite able to get that pass up. Thomas, an effort too, but it's quickly 5-0 here for Armstrong. Ballard sending it out to Holmes. A little indecision there for Armstrong, and McGowan will miss the line as she tried to go to the outside. So the first point for Cooper comes up on the hitting error for Armstrong.
Yeah, you do love to see Cooper just hanging in there, still putting up 3 touches. Great volleys back and forth and some rallies, and they're just living for the mistakes on the other side. So they're still in this very well. Holmes
with the serve. And come to McGowan trying to go line with that one. So make it 5-2.
Yeah, she just didn't quite have the best look on that ball, and she took a little off, but it just went a little wide on her side.
And Daly, well, they'll recover and get it over. Fondo doing a nice job. And a block. And finally, ultimately, Cooper will win the point, but good effort by Armstrong. I was kind of mentally ready to call that point over, and they ran it down.
Yeah, that was a great hustle by Armstrong. I mean, although you don't get the point, you know you worked for it, and you still have that momentum. You know you're fighting with them. So, but Cooper is still here, 3-5.
Holmes with the serve. That'll be too long. And that's the kind where, you know, there's no decision to be made for the defense. They can see right away that it's too long. You want to at least kind of put the seed of doubt in their mind, make it closer than what that was. And Ballard not able to handle that one. Got their knee on it. The pass was just too tight to the net to do much of anything with. So
yeah, you got to just keep that off a little bit and give your setter a chance to just get all her hitters in there.
Daly with the serve. Chang unable to handle it. That one would have been close to being out, but she felt she better play it, and then ends up being an ace.
Yeah, that ball just drops. It looks as though it's going long, and then all of a sudden just bottoms out. It's hard to tell sometimes when you're back on that line.
And a serving error there, though, by Daly will give Cooper the point. 8-4 now our score. Reese checks back in. Chang will serve for the Hawks. And that'll be out as Keeblebeck will score the point again.
Hey, you just want to see some movement of feet. You know, right now they're kind of just going down towards the ball, but obviously it's early in the season and they're doing really well, and it must be encouraging to just be down by 5 right now.
Oh, Fondo will get that one to crawl over, and then Ballard was on the move and able to keep that ball alive. Here's Keeblebeck, another swing, and she will score it again.
That was a great hit. No block, and the setter just puts it there perfectly on a dime. Looks like she ran it inside a little bit, confusing her blockers, giving her a little line, little cross, and I love a little chuckle too.
Yeah, just from the brief time I spent at practice a couple days ago, Keeblebeck is somebody who likes to have fun. I saw her laughing about 3-4 different times at things that were going on. She seems to be kind of a vocal leader a little bit too. Sylvia Moke with the serve. Armstrong sending that one over. Now Ballard will come back middle with it. Fondo able to dig it up. Holmes retreating to play that one. And now she will push that ball over. Swept to the outside. Nice dig by Amoke. Got it right to her setter Ballard, and then Thomas playing it. Here's Ferguson off hands there. Long point. Who's going to take it? Ballard into the middle, and a nice block put up by Armstrong and Ferguson. Ultimately, Armstrong prevails.
I mean, I did love what Cooper was thinking on the other side, just giving it a little touch, because they have seen some success with that pass with some off speed, but man, you just can't help but Alex Jurek just being there as a big block. So you love to see that.
Ooh, and that one will turn into another ace for the Falcons.
Yeah, it does seem like their serve is coming to be turned back on, and Cooper is struggling a little bit with the service to receive, but if they can get that back down pack, I think they're back in this.
And Keeblebeck misfiring there. Yeah, you don't give yourself a real good chance to win when you have, you know, enough points that you just don't get into at all, where they're aces immediately. And I think it can be a little bit demoralizing too, to, you know, you're all eager to get into your offense, and instead the point ends so quickly.
Ooh, great dig.
Ballard, excellent effort there, but not able to keep the point alive.
And yeah, I will agree with you on that. I mean, when you see the hustle and you just see play after play, the other team getting good serve receive, getting their setters set up, getting their hitters set up, and then all you can really do is hope for a pass, it does become a little bit demoralizing. But the missed serves on Armstrong's side is just giving Cooper some hope, I'll tell you that.
I'm sure Coach Hauser not thrilled to see that. And it's one of those things, I mean, it's like free throws in basketball. You know you can serve the ball in, but it can be a mental thing, or you're trying to be too fine with it. Just various times. I mean, obviously, you'd like to say you should never make a serving error, but that's not reality.
Yeah, it is a fine line. Obviously, as you start to get up in any type of level, it's a fine line between being aggressive and just hitting the ball plainly out, and they're definitely tiptoeing on that line with their serve-receive abilities.
Ferguson sending that one, and the Hawks able to recover, and Ballard sends it over. Ferguson this time denied. Whoa, nice block there for the Hawks as Ross just read it well, got it squared up, and able to get the block.
Oh, and it's just beautiful. She just stays where she is, gets a little bit of a knee bend, presses over, and look at her now, giving a chuckle and being a presence with those hands firmly over the net. I love to see that.
Yeah, that right there probably, maybe Cooper's most impressive play of the night, but followed up by a kill for Daly.
Yeah, and that block was, I believe, the only block of this match, if I do say so myself, and it was probably the most impressive thing I've ever seen. But yes, Daly, you can't really count her out. She's been being a powerhouse on that outside, whether it's from the floor on an out-of-system play or just on play. She just hits it to the floor, so.
Ferguson to serve here for Armstrong, and that one will drop in for an ace as they didn't really communicate well.
Yeah. You do have a Moke back there on the line. Doesn't really say in or out, gives no communication, but it's all right because they got the next one.
Caitlin Campbell that was playing that one, and then this one is hammered home, and the Hawks are fired up as Holmes giving it a full swing.
Yeah. You can see she gets a full approach and honestly turns it down the line even though she has all of cross. So it was a very good look. She obviously is very aware of her court presence. So I hope she's really excited after that one. A high-level play.
Ballard, the serve here for Cooper, and wow, that was nearly an ace. Fondo did a good job to get to it. Obviously, that wasn't where she intended to put the ball, but at least got it back over, and it was very close to being an ace. Instead, it's maybe a little bit of a fortunate point for Armstrong, but they'll take it. Ballard ranges over to get to that one, and the tip, it's going to be, is it good or?
Yeah, they're calling it in. That was a very smart play. They've been hitting all night, and she just puts over a soft tip, catches that blocker who's coming in early, doesn't see her arm all the way down. Just goes right over the top of her, and no one's home.
So Cooper to within 5, and that serve had a lot of action to it, but just too long as Holmes. Boy, this one was, here's another look, and yeah, it lands on the line. That's what I thought. I'm not sure it hit hands or not, but either way, I think it was in. So
yeah.
I think the correct call there, and Armstrong will wind up with another ace. And again, not to harp on the same point over and over, but that's really been the difference in the match, is that Cooper's not passed the ball well off serve. Armstrong at times hasn't, but it certainly hasn't been nearly as much of a difficulty for them. I think we had a net violation here on Armstrong.
Gives Cooper a little break there. And I do agree, yeah, the serve-receive game is being won by Armstrong. And if you are always the one serving and you're always the one receiving, it's a bit hard and a bit discouraging.
Middle for McGowan, and she will tap it over. She's a lefty, and that can confuse. And I think at sometimes, the point we saw earlier, where I think the setter kind of forgot that she's left-handed too because it gave her an awkward. But for the blockers, they're not really expecting a lefty in that spot, and didn't really get much of an approach, but it works.
Yeah, and then Armstrong does follow it up though with another missed serve, but that's all right. And I do like that they're using some off-speed tips, so hopefully they'll incorporate those more.
And Amoke returns the favor though, serving into the net. And 20th point going up for Armstrong, and when you get to 20 and your opponent's got 13, your odds of taking the set are pretty good. Obviously, it doesn't mean they've wrapped it up yet, but it's a long road back now for Cooper, and again they struggle to pass that one, so 21-13.
Yeah, and Cooper, they do show signs of great serve receive, I think, right now. It's just a lack of communication and no one wanting to be at the ball at that time. It's just a lot of who's going to go for it. So
Chang's pass too tight to the net for Savannah Ballard to do anything with there. Keeble back with the serve, this time well handled. Holmes, a roll shot there that Armstrong digs up. Armstrong will tip with the left hand there, just kind of an off speed, hanging in the air, and got it done.
Yeah, I think they saw a little bit of what Amoke was doing, and now we see 2 tips from Armstrong showing they can do a little bit better.
But then a serving error will give it back to Cooper. I think that's where, you know, coaches, you want to see, don't be satisfied with, you know, 2 good serves. You want to keep it going and keep, I think it's a concentration thing sometimes too. That roll shot from Ferguson will be wide of the mark. So again, Cooper, you know, down big, but still in it as they get a couple points here, courtesy of Armstrong errors, and Olivia Thomas will serve. And Ferguson gets a full swing. Boy, it seems like a lot of the times tonight when they've been in a spot where they really needed a point, it's been Ferguson who's been able to come through.
Yeah, Ferguson has been putting it away, just hitting those deep corners, and Setter just putting it in the perfect place, and she seems to be going over top the blockers. So,
Armstrong will get a bit of a break there as she gets an ace serve here on set point, getting that one to scrape over the net. So Armstrong will win the second set as well here. 25-15 the finals. You get another look at Armstrong. They'll take it as it counts the same, but she gets the ace. So the Falcons now up 2-0. We'll be back with set number 3 here in the Robbinsdale matchup between Cooper and Armstrong.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
Welcome back here to Armstrong High School. There's J.R. Russell, the Cooper head coach, talking with her team. And I think in both of the sets there were stretches where they played pretty well. It just kind of really boiled down to having trouble handling. I don't know, Armstrong, probably a third of their points came off aces or at least directly from serves. And for Cooper, if you take that away, the things would have been relatively even. But obviously, you know, that's all part of it too. You can't just overlook that and count on the rest of your game to excel if you can't get that first pass up.
Yeah, and honestly, you do hate to see the serve-receive game be lost, but one thing to pick up and one thing that's a positive right now is that Cooper does not stop fighting. Every time they're down in the 20s or 23s, they're coming back up, creeping in 15, 16. So it's really good and honestly really reassuring, especially as a coach, just to see that they have a lot of fight and there's a long season left. So I can't wait to see where this goes.
Alex Jurek will serve to begin our third set here for Armstrong.
Game 3, Falcons adjourn to serve.
And Jurek into the net. That's one thing that Armstrong has had more problems with as we've gone on is serving errors that, you know, just really unforced. Obviously, like one like that was not close to being in. Holmes will serve here for Cooper. She's been a tough server. And that one put away by McGowan.
And yeah, to your point, You do see a little bit of breakdown, and I guess on the opposite side, you don't want to see your team lose concentration. So hopefully Armstrong can get their serves back on track here.
Thomas will send a free ball over here. And they'll look to the right side, and that time Keeblebeck, the timing was a little bit off, and it was off a block, so score the point for Armstrong. It was a touch. I don't think even Armstrong thought so.
Yeah, well, there could have been, we love a replay. Could have been a touch. We're just going to go with it,
Yeah, in the second look there, it did not really look like it hit Thomas's left hand, but I don't know.
That's a break for Armstrong. Did hit a bit of a wrist. Can't tell if it's a bit of a breakdown in the set or maybe she was just a little too late, but hopefully they talk that over and they're good for the next play.
Chang able to get that ball over. Real tight to the net. McGowan, now we had a violation there. The officials are going to discuss this one.
Yeah, it does seem like she's calling a back row attack, but neither player was back row, and the joust was valid as the ball was in the middle of the net, and both parties had over half the ball on their side. So I don't exactly know what this call is going to be.
Yeah, they're going to stick with the point for Armstrong.
Okay. I guess the setter did not have ample opportunity to set the ball, which you cannot do. The setter has the opportunity to set it, so must have disrupted the play on the other side.
Ballard will come right back to Thomas with it off the block. Gonna look for Armstrong, and that one is wide off the net and then out.
Yeah, I got a bit of a lucky bounce on that one, and 2-3, they're close, and it's still anyone's game, so let's see what Chang's up to.
Right side there, Ballard digging that one up. Yeah, a little indecision for the Hawks. They do get it over. Here's McGowan getting an attempt from the middle. Fondo, a nice dig on that ball. Now, I'm sorry, not cleanly handled.
It looks as though someone was in the net.
Yes. I think it was McGowan.
Oh. And those are the types of errors that you're, as a coach, you're a little bit like, why?
Keeblebeck able to drop that one in.
That was a great play. Looked as though her whole body was going cross court. She just turns it line with a quick flip of the wrist. Great back set from middle of the court. That was just an all-around great play.
And Thomas will Holmes finding some open space there. Hitting from the back row.
Yeah, and to your point earlier, she is a big hitter. As from last year, you said she put up points, and it seems like they seem to find her anywhere she is on the court.
Armstrong misfiring there, and Cooper has the lead. They have not had the lead virtually at all tonight. It might be the very first time, in fact.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration there on Annika's face.
Tough one for Keeblebeck to handle. She didn't try to do anything more than tip that one over, because her body would have gone into the net there. And they'll end up getting a point out of it.
Yeah, Cooper still hanging in there and fighting, picking up that tip that seemed to be prevalent in the last half of the last set. So
Tuchtenhagen in to serve. Now Thomas a roll shot deep. Armstrong getting another swing there. A nice dig by Holmes. Ferguson looking to the outside and finds that corner. Wow. It looked like a bit of a miss hit, but she able to drop it in perfectly.
Yeah, that was, I can tell Coach has been telling her that's a nice, deliberate push to the backcourt. That was amazing.
And the serve is wide, so Armstrong, as many points as they've scored on serve, they can't be happy with the increasing amount of, service errors too. And Thomas, though, that's happened a few times too, where we've seen Armstrong misfire on a serve, and Cooper, though, giving it right back as Campbell checks back into the Cooper lineup. And a full swing there, and put away for the Falcons. Oh, I'm sorry, we must have had a net violation there.
Oh. Looks as though it is going Cooper's way either way, so I know they're excited because to be tied back up again at 7.
Sylvia Omoke will serve here, or I'm sorry, that's their sister Rachel. And Daly lost her concentration on that one and missed it. So Rachel Omoke will serve again. Cooper back in front at 8-7. Ferguson able to get the job done again.
Yeah, they're just hitting that back line. It just seems if they find any type of corner or back line hit, which is a high-level play, they're getting it every time. But Cooper is starting to get into a flow. I can see they're trying to pick up the tips, any type of roll shot. So they kind of need those plays.
Here's Ferguson to serve.
Ooh.
And McGowan with the block as they try to go quick to Ross there. McGowan was ready. And there's where having that great size can help you too. I mean, she was just in position. You actually kind of maybe jumped to just a touch late, but she was just got the long reach. Oh, collision there as Ballard and Ross both took a step toward it, then both pulled back, and then oops, we both are gonna not get to it.
Yeah, and you said McGowan was 6'2". Are you sure about that? She seems taller out there.
I was gonna say that. I think that's what she was listed at, in past years in basketball, but you might be right. She might be bigger than that now.
Oh.
And there's Cooper again, kind of not communicating.
Yeah, and it was such a close score. You don't really like to see plays like lack of communication plays. You kind of just want them to be in a hustle, have that momentum rolling. So it's great timeout on Tierra's part, and just to get them back in it, because they could definitely take this one away if they start to hunker down.
Yeah, and that's the one, I think, like you said, a good timeout, because she not liking the body language a little bit right there. Really, for one of the first times, the players kind of looking like they were mad at each other or whatever, just like, hey, that should have been yours, whatever. And you kind of want to just settle that down and get back to communicating well. And talking with coaches, in years past, one of the first things they talk about is occasionally you get players that are just kind of quiet and it isn't natural for them to really speak up, but you can't really be a good volleyball player if you're not communicating out there, because you're moving in such a small space and you're so dependent on what your teammates around you are doing and knowing what's coming up next. I mean, I think people will be amazed by just how much talking goes on in that short little area, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ballard now, it's going to be Chang trying to drive that one over, but could not do it. And Armstrong going on a run here after Cooper had taken an 8-7 lead. 5 in a row now for the Falcons as Ferguson will serve.
Mm-hmm.
Holmes off the block. It comes back over, and Ballard will dump that ball. And McGowan trying to go deep with it, but too deep.
Yeah, and you love to see after that timeout, Chang, she had that one mistake. She looked at her coach and she said, my bad. Looked at all her players, said, my bad. Must have been a good timeout. Right after that, had a great pass. So let's see what they can do after this.
Ballard, who's a good server here for Cooper. Here come to McGowan. Dug up there by Campbell. And that one is denied, so point for the Hawks.
Yeah, and now you're trying to see some, as you were saying earlier, some even better body language now as before the timeout. As you said, they had some bad communication between each other, some bad body language, but it's starting to pick up now as they start to rack up some points, and now they're within 2.
Ballard, another strong serve. And that'll be a kill for Megan Daly as she went cross-court deep with it. Chang having to play that ball overhead there. And again, it was one of those that may or may not have been headed out possibly, but just the spot where she was, she had to go for it. And there's another little bit of miscommunication there on the serve, so the pass into the net. And Armstrong pulling ahead here by 4. Or is it? Yeah, now we got 14-10. Yep, they had briefly given the point to the wrong team on the scoreboard here. Keeblebeck.
Good dig.
Dug up by Ballard, but not able to scramble and get that one over the Hawks.
Yeah, and you're just going to hope that they get some serve receive going here. The serve is pretty deadly behind the line at the moment, though, so hopefully they get one up. Nice serve. Could have been out.
And that one's going to drop wide. Good communication by Armstrong as Campbell sending it over, but about a foot wide of that sideline. Jurek trying to stretch her team's lead. They're at 16-10. They already lead 2 sets to none, but a serving error there.
Yeah, and with the serving area and error and 5 points within each team, you kind of want to see your team on Cooper pull away a little bit just so they can capitalize on this error on their part for Armstrong.
Holmes with the serve, and that one's too long.
And it looks to be a new person on the court, Mason Osteen.
Ballard had to go a long way to get to that ball. They do send it over. Chang setting it up for Holmes. And that'll be a point. Armstrong got a little bit stretched out there and couldn't get back to that one.
Yeah, and as you can see, Holmes is taking care of business, whether it be in the front court or the back court. It's just whether they can get a pass up and a set to her. If you can, she is going to look down and get that kill for you. Looks to be just checking how many timeouts they have.
Chang will serve here for the Hawks. Oh, Chang with a nice dig as Ost with his swing. There's McGowan with the block. Chang fighting that one off. And here's Holmes with another swing, and she'll put another one away from the back.
And that did all start with that initial first dig from Chang. A beautiful dig, stayed home, got the tip from the other side, who swiped it right into her lap, and then had another overhead dig. So she really kept that alive. And Holmes again, just putting it down.
And they come to McGowan, but had a block. Fondo covering behind her, though. And Thomas trying a roll shot there, but instead into the net. Nope.
Yeah, and as this continues to go, you see a little bit of fatigue, you see a little bit of frustration, but Cooper's still fighting it off. As you can see, Chang is getting multiple digs, and you have the right side back person just getting digs too, so they're just trying their best from the back line, and now all they have to do is put it down. And I believe if they find Holmes in the back row, they can get that point.
Greg Cooper was questioning something there. I'm not sure. The top official was speaking to the Hawks a little bit. And put away nicely there by Reese.
Yeah, she just cuts that so hard. Great angle. You see that the other blocker was up too early, pulls off just at the last minute, and she takes that angle right away.
Sylvia Amoke to serve here. And Keebleback denied by Reese. Back to back. Strong plays for her.
Nothing better than a big block to get you some momentum. Oh, wow. Comes in at the last minute, a little late, puts her hands all the way over and gets that block. Oh.
And it'll be an ace for Amoke as Keebleback probably played a ball that wasn't hers there, and so they lead down to 2 for Armstrong as Cooper making a nice surge here, 3 points in a row.
Oh.
And let's see, was that ball touched? Yes, it will be a point for Armstrong. I actually thought it was in anyway, even aside from that, but it'll be Armstrong's point.
Yeah, I initially thought that ball was in, and I guess there's a touch. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, it did kind of look like it maybe changed direction a little bit there, and I'm not sure it looked in there. But I think ultimately they get the right call. Ballard will send it over. And the tip, but a good recovery there. Now Ferguson will get a swing.
Ooh.
Thomas, that ball is going to land in. Wow. Just a complete scramble play there, and she punches that one over and finds a little bit of space along the line.
It's those hustle plays that get you going, so that's a lesson for anyone at home. Keep playing till the end of the whistle. You never know what happens.
Ballard getting to it. Wow, they scramble, and then Chang sending it over. And a great block again by Reese. But it's out. Yeah. So Armstrong will be fortunate to get the point a little. Well, I don't want to say fortunate, but yeah, definitely out.
Yeah, she just kind of goes up there and doesn't put her hands all the way over across the net, so it catches her high, being a variable for the block to go anywhere, and it does go out, unfortunately.
And a long run. They're not going to get to that one. Holmes will score another point here for the Hawks.
It's getting a little close here, Jay.
You see it in so many matches where the team that goes up, 2 sets, they just sort of relax a little bit, and they, you sort of feel like you've got it wrapped up and whatever, and maybe you substitute and it changes momentum a little bit too. And
couple missed serves here and there.
And that one will be too strong, so the Hawks are to within 1.
Yeah, and they did go to their bread and butter, as you said earlier, Ferguson, who usually gets those back corners, but she's just out this time.
Rachel Amoke to serve here for Cooper, trying to tie things up here in this 3rd set.
Great dig.
Here's Holmes with a swing. And Daly is too long with that one. And Cooper has battled back to tie things up at 20.
Yeah, just had a couple calls go their way, even one that didn't even go their way, but also just some great hustle plays, some great blocks, and Holmes in the back row put in it from the back row in the corners, and just some miscommunication, and all that's up to 20-20 all.
And they come back for Ferguson. That time was off hands. It'll be a point for Armstrong.
Yeah, that blocker just a little bit late and takes it off their hands and all the way out. Obviously, Amoke did not recognize it was touched, but sometimes in those bang-bang plays, you don't know exactly what's going on.
Ferguson to serve with her team up by a point. Campbell didn't get much of it, but enough. Here's McGowan off the blockers. Ballard pushing it over. Near collisions on both sides of the net there. Now Ballard will give it out to Holmes, and she's able to put it away. Oh, wait a minute. Did we have a net violation? No, they're checking with the line whether it was in or not. I thought it was off the blocker, but it must have been off the net instead.
Yeah, and in those plays, it's kind of hard, especially without replay, but also you start to think, how can it redirect out without some type of help? But if they say it's out, it's out.
So it looks like it'll be a point for Armstrong here.
Oh,
it did hit the net.
It hit the net.
Yeah, it looks like they got it right.
Critical point, but they got it right.
And that'll be a misfire by Holmes, who's been pretty solid here tonight. And so Cooper will take a timeout as Armstrong trying to have the last word here in this third set after Cooper had fought back to tie it up.
Yeah, and it is hard to fight back after a call like that. You just you have momentum going, you're about to be tied 21-21, and now it's different when the score is 20-22. So now it's 20-23, and it's a great timeout call on Tierra's part, and hopefully they can battle back and get a little bit of a game here, but Armstrong does seem to have it under wraps at the moment. What do you think Cooper has to do to get back into this?
Well, certainly getting that first pass to, Ballard has shown that she can do some good things with the ball when she gets it. But Ferguson has been a pretty good server for Armstrong here tonight. And has played well all around. And that's exactly what they didn't need, as Holmes not able to get her base under that one. Get the pass away. So 24-20 match point chance here for Kylie Ferguson and Armstrong. And that'll be another ace for the Falcons as they close out Cooper in 3, and they are excited for that in the season opener here. So interesting match here tonight, Janae. We had a lot of new players playing for both teams here. And obviously some good things done by both, and some mistakes by both, like you might expect on a first night. But overall, I think a good way to get into the season for both these teams. Playing in front of a bit of a crowd, too, because it's a rivalry, because you're so close. I think that's something that the coaches are glad that the players got to experience, going forward, to have that little bit of pressure on you. And that's going to come throughout the year, too.
Yeah, and it was great to see both the jitters come out. And obviously the first game, they had a lot of mistakes, miscommunication, but as both teams started to warm up, you obviously see in the scores, 18-25, 15-25, then you have 20-25. So I'm super excited to see them see each other again when Armstrong is at Cooper. So obviously there's going to be some adjustments. Both sides are going to be looking different, but for this first game, I thought it was pretty solid all the way around. So it is Armstrong prevailing in a sweep here tonight as they win it 25-18, 25-15, and 25-20. Hope you've enjoyed the season opener here. We'll have Volleyball Monday night for you as well as Wayzata takes on Chaska. For Janae Alderson and all of our CCX crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. Good night from Armstrong.